the little multi-celled thing in the woman's womb there, it's not praying. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not communing with God, it's not self-aware. I mean, it's none of these things.
Sure.
A lot of these are all actually linked to brain function. And this view has actually been used by ethicists, some of whom will call themselves Christian, but many who won't, to say, look, that means life isn't sacred. I mean, you Christians are crazy. Life isn't sacred until you get brain development.
Sure. And so you look at Genesis from the very beginning. Let us make man in our image. Yeah. You know, who's the us there? Because I've heard it taught. This is the Trinity. I know you're a Trinitarian. Like, is that the Trinity? You know, because I've heard it taught. Hey, the us there.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I'm gonna see if I can find a Genesis reference here really quickly. But just in regard to the language of Genesis 1:26, let us create humanity,
Yes.
Mankind, whatever your translation says, in our image,
Yeah.
And our likeness. And then the next verse, it switches back to the singulars.
Yes.
So God created them in His image, in
Yes.
His likeness. So it's really weird because people have noticed you got this plural stuff going on, then you got the singular stuff. And so the default explanation has been Trinity.
Yeah.
I would say if that's the only verse that was like this, you could probably get away with that.
Okay. Yeah.
The problem is it isn't. If you go over to Genesis 11, let me just read this. It says, and the Lord, and it's the divine name, it's Yahweh, because it's all small caps. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of man had built. This is the Tower of Babel passage. So the Lord comes down, Yahweh comes down to, let's check this out. And the Lord said, behold, they're all one people, they have all one language. This is only the beginning of what they will do, and nothing they propose to do will now be impossible for them. Now catch this. Come, let us go down. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
He was already down. So if the us here is the Trinity, like all three persons should be there. Okay. I mean, if God is one, that just sounds kind of weird. No, what he's referring to is, again, the heavenly host. And so there are a lot of reasons to take the heavenly host in Genesis 1:26, where God, when he says, let's create humankind in our image, he's speaking to a group.
Yes.
His other family, really, because humans haven't been created yet. And he's making an announcement about what he wants to do. And when it comes down to doing it, you don't have humanity created by many gods.
Yes.
I mean, that's History Channel theology right there, okay? You don't have humanity created by many gods. You have singular creation verbs all over the Hebrew Bible, but especially right there. So, the Trinity thing, again, it doesn't work when you start to bring in other passages here. And not only that, but why would God have to make an announcement to the other members of the Trinity? They didn't learn anything. Like, we don't need the announcement. We already know, because we're like, we're you too.
So does that point to the partnership? I mean, he obviously, you mentioned it before, family, partnership.
Right. So why are the plurals there?
Yeah.
Now, I think to answer that adequately, and we'll try to condense it here, you have to understand what the image is. Okay, I am opposed to the qualitative view of the image, that the image it refers to a quality, an attribute given to humans, because and there's lots of reasons to oppose this, but it cannot be said that all humans at all stages of life's existence have these, whatever this quality is. And there's a whole grocery list of them theologians have proposed, self-awareness, the ability to pray, language. I mean, there's like 12, 15 of these.
Okay.
The biblical teaching is that whatever the image is, it's not bestowed incrementally. It distinguishes humanity from everything else in the earthly creation here. And it's both male and female. There's no growth in it. It doesn't develop.
So there's no development. There's no stages.
It's there. It's just there.
Boom.
To be human is to be whatever this is. And if you make it a quality, you can't say those things.
I see.
The little multi-celled thing in the woman's womb there, it's not praying. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not communing with God. It's not self-aware. I mean, it's none of these things. A lot of these are all actually linked to brain function. And this view has actually been used by ethicists, some of whom will call themselves Christian, but many who won't, to say, look, that means life isn't sacred. I mean, you Christians are crazy. Life isn't sacred until you get brain development.
Sure.
You know, it really has dark ethical implications, but we don't realize that because we're just sort of taught
Yes.
to think this way. And I'm opposed to that. What the image really is, it's not a quality. The image is a status or function.
Okay.
And again, you could read Unseen Realm for the Hebrew grammatical reasons for this, but we are better off translating the passage, let us create humankind as our image. Okay, to represent, you know.
So something distinct, completely distinct from because he had just created other species, other animals.
This is the lone creation on earth that is now going to be my proxy.
Okay.
It's going to represent me. It's as though, this is why, this has big implications. This is why idolatry is insane in biblical theology. We don't need to make idols.
Yeah.
Okay, we are the representation of God.
So you're saying we're his idol.
Right. God is supposed to be.
Now that's going to trip some people up. That thought process.
Right. If you think about it, you know, perversely, like God is supposed to worship.
Yeah. No. I don't mean. But I just mean even that concept.
Right. We are his visible representation. You know, and Jesus is the ultimate imager. He that has seen me has seen the Father. I mean, that's the nth degree, the ultimate example of this. But the idea is the same, that God puts us here to function in his place, okay, as his partner.
Yeah.
And the plurals are essentially that what we do here to represent our Creator mimes or imitates, reflects, is in sync with the family he created in the spiritual world. So that the plurals actually link us to them, to the heavenly host, and to God in some way. And the some way is it's this symbiotic relationship, this as in heaven, as God's family and bureaucracy and partnerships working up there. That's the way it's supposed to work down here. And you know, we know that gets undermined and destroyed with the fall, and we've got rebellions in the supernatural world. I mean, the whole thing explodes, you know, in the early chapters of Genesis, and then it carries through to Revelation. But this is really what's going on with the plural. I like to use the illustration, you know, I'm Mike, I'm one guy. If I walk in a room and say, hey, let us get pizza, let us get lunch, okay?
That does sound really good, by the way.
There you go, especially pizza. For sure. Okay, see, now I'm hopelessly distracted.
Me too.
But if I do that, and I choose the toppings, I choose the place we get it, I pay, we go in my car to get it, but I let you eat, you got the idea, okay? It's this thing where God doesn't lose his unique creator status here.
Sure.
But what he's doing is he's looping other parts of creation in with it. You know, he's announcing this to his heavenly host, here's what we're going to do. He's the only one that does it. And this is consistent in the Hebrew Bible. Verbs of creation where humanity is the object of creation are always singular. Or they're always singular. You know, you never have this, again, the gods are participating, you know, like you don't have that.
There's only one creator.
Only one creator. That's pagan polytheism. So even though you have the plural language here, the text is very clear.
Yeah.
God is the only creator of the world and human beings.
Yeah.
But the plurals are important because they connect that world and this world.